Hey everybody, this is Guru Jerry Valido again with Cinco Estilos Urban Arnis. And today I want to talk about the traditional versus the practical, specifically in Filipino martial arts. I see Filipino martial arts a bit differently than the empty hand arts of karate, kung fu, taekwondo, Wing Chun. All of those arts primarily teach empty hand self-defense, empty hand offense, versus an empty hand attack. Filipino martial arts is specific in that we deal with attacks with an impact weapon, attacks with edged weaponry. So we're talking real damage, real injury, real life and death circumstances that you should be focusing on in your training. So this is what baffles me about Filipino martial arts. I trained in a traditional system for 15 years. And you know, the saying goes that when you're in the Kool-Aid, you drink the Kool-Aid and you kind of just swallow it. Not once did I ever think to myself to question what I was learning, to question why this was done instead of that, why we moved in this fashion instead of another fashion. I've always kind of considered myself a progressive martial artist, always wanting to find methodologies that suited modern day self-defense issues. For instance, I just read an article or saw something online the other day about the origination of Taekwondo and how all the high kicks and the flying kicks, this was developed by the Koreans for these warriors to kick people off their horses. So that's just a kind of an example. Whenever I see Filipino martial artists out there reaching like this on every single technique that they're doing, not thinking about, well, you know what, your hand and arm are now targets. Whenever I see Filipino martial artists who are standing straight up without any kind of semblance of a stance or stability, I think to myself, do you really want to get taken down to the ground? Do you not want to be stable when you execute your technique? Whenever I see Filipino martial artists who practice their techniques over and over and over and over to perfection against a feeder who's holding their arm out and standing like statues, do you ever practice against any kind of resistance? One of my instructors, Guru Mark Stewart, is a very big proponent of that. You have to train against resistance. I will add on to that, saying that you have to train and have your feeders react to your strikes. Because if I hit the guy's hand in the technique, the hand isn't going to stay out there. The hand is going to retract, just like any human being would do when they feel pain. You touch a hot pot on the stove, it's going to retract. So those are the kind of things that I think about, the traditional versus the practical, and questioning things. I want my students to question me all the time. I want them to ask me, because if I can't come up with an answer for them, then that means I need a little more learning myself. So take that as food for thought. We'll see you on the next one.